Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, dwyersportsbetting.com, both free sites. Today is November 11th, 2017. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. First, to sports bettors, let me just say, there's no advice that I or anyone else can give you that's going to be as lucrative as investing in Bitcoin Cash, in my opinion. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. You decide for yourself. But because Bitcoin blew it with SegWit 2, because their transaction costs are higher, because their transaction speeds are slower, because Bitcoin Cash was distributed to the same people who own Bitcoin, people well versed in the crypto sphere, I'm just telling you that at least in the short term, Bitcoin Cash, which has been on fire, is going to continue to be on fire. Understand, many of the same benefits that you get with Bitcoin, in other words, limited supply, you also get with Bitcoin Cash. Only Bitcoin Cash has a bigger block size, which means cheaper and faster transactions. Let's talk about the world of sports. In the NBA for today, November 11th, 2017, I like the Memphis Grizzlies on the road, getting 6.5 points over the Houston Rockets. Understand, these teams are in the same division. They're competitors. Memphis has already beaten Houston this year, Memphis, when it loses, doesn't lose by more than 6.5 points. Understand, too, that Houston had a very emotional game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. They might be in for a little bit of a letdown emotionally. Also, Memphis is very rested. Memphis is underrated. Memphis is one of the better coach teams in the National Basketball Association. I like Memphis getting 6.5 points. Let me also point out, too, that Memphis plays at a very slow pace, What that means is that fewer points are going to be put up. A spread of 6.5, which might work in a conventionally paced game, is going to be hard to reach in a game that's slowed down. In the National Football League, now understand, I typically bet early in the week, so some of the lines have moved, I got the Washington Redskins at a +2 at home against the Minnesota Vikings, who, in my opinion, are offensively challenged. I know the Redskins have injuries, but you're asking Case Keenum, backed up by rusty Teddy Bridgewater, to somehow, not only win the game, but to do it by 2 points. It's my understanding the line has moved now to +1.5. In either event, I like the underdog in this game. I like the Washington Redskins at home. Kirk Cousins is one of the league's better quarterbacks. I also like the Washington Redskins here on the point spread, whether it's a +2 or, I also like the under 41 points, in the game. Simply put, again, Minnesota is offensively challenged. Minnesota is defensively blessed. I expect the points to come at a premium. I like the under 41 points in the Vikings-Redskin game. I also like the New Orleans Saints on the road at a -2 over the Buffalo Bills, Let me just say, too, for futures bettors, I'm not one who believes in second-year quarterbacks doing well in the playoffs, So, as I look at the NFC, I'm seeing a lot of faith put on QBs like Carson Wentz and Jared Goff, Guys who were picked in last year's draft. In other words, the year before this last year, Second-year quarterbacks. I know their teams are doing well, but the way I see the odds playing out, I just feel better with experienced quarterbacks who have been to Super Bowls like Russell Wilson and Drew Brees. You're getting great odds on both teams on futures to win the NFC. Well, the Saints right now are dominant on many levels. I believe this is the kind of game where they're going to be able to get in the trenches. This is not the same team you remember, right? This is a team that can run the ball. Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara, that's an elite rushing attack. To go, of course, with future Hall of Famer Drew Brees. I like the Saints here on the road, right? Laying 2 points over the Buffalo Bills. Finally, I know the Steelers are rested, but I like the Indianapolis Colts at home getting 10 points. I just feel that double-digit lines in the NFL are too risky, especially when the team getting the double digits is the home team, right? Let me also say, too, that Jacoby Brissett is actually one of the better young quarterbacks in this league. Also, you look at the rushing attack that the Colts have with Marlon Mack and Frank Gore. That's a pretty decent rushing attack. Of course, they still have some wide receivers as well. I like the Colts plus 10 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let me also say, too, if you look at the splits on Ben Roethlisberger, home versus road, he's much better at home than he is on the road, right? I'm not expecting the Steelers to be as motivated as they would be against, let's say, the Patriots or the Chiefs. I think the 10 is too much. I like the home team, the Colts plus 10. That's how I see it. Oh, one more thing, too. I got the Atlanta Falcons early in the week, laying 3.5 points over the Dallas Cowboys. Now that Ezekiel Elliott is out, I certainly like the Atlanta Falcons over the Dallas Cowboys. If the line has risen significantly from the 3.5, just take Atlanta on a money line over the Cowboys. Atlanta needs this game. The Cowboys, in my opinion, are not the same team without Ezekiel Elliott. Also, there's a lot going on with the Cowboy organization, right? Jerry Jones is threatening to sue the league over Roger Goodell's handling of the Ezekiel Elliott case. Of course, they're couching it as Roger Goodell's contract negotiation. Okay, fine. But just understand, as you can imagine, there's a lot of controversy surrounding the Cowboys, in my experience as a bettor, that will impact a team, especially a team like this, with a young quarterback and a coach who I don't consider to be a strong coach, right? So I like the Atlanta Falcons in this one. Atlanta, if you look at the numbers, they're actually doing well offensively. At times, their defense has let them down, right? I don't think the Cowboys have an A-level wide receiver. I'm sorry, Des Bryant is now a 2, not a 1 in my book, right? Terrence Williams, Cole Beasley, none of those guys are a Julio Jones, for example. So I like the Falcons here. They need the win, right? I think they come in motivated. Anyway, that's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section to this video. Thanks for stopping by.